This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
Ain't no party like a Diddy party. Well, we finally have a LeBron James quote that we can put in the annals of great sports quotes. I was just looking at some of the lists of great sports quotes, and all the great ones are on there. You know, Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson and Wayne Gretzky and Wilt Chamberlain and you name it. There's all kinds of great sports quotes. I love that stuff. And there was no LeBron James on the list. I Googled. Well, there is now. LeBron James on video telling Sean Puff Diddy Combs that there ain't no party like a Diddy party. Can we hear from LeBron?
And giving everybody a light, man, this is an unbelievable thing, man. Like everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party. So
yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah. So we know now at least one of the people who's been at the freak-offs, which is what Diddy called his parties. And if we heard this at the time, whatever year this was, we just thought, they were big, crazy parties, maybe some drugs, maybe some women, a little sex here and there. Now we know the level of debauchery. We know the criminal activity that was involved in these parties. He was indicted Tuesday in New York on 3 charges of racketeering and sex trafficking. He's going away. They got him. You know why they got him? Because this idiot videotaped everything for blackmail reasons. Maybe that's why he managed to stay out of jail for the last 15 years. The accusations go back to 2008, 2009. And they were, I watched the press conference from the attorney, the district attorney in New York the other day, and it was lurid. He outlined exactly what these freak-off parties were about. They had male sex workers who would have sex with the drugged female guests, and they would do what Diddy told them to do. He would direct them while masturbating. Yes, that's how it worked. And apparently lots of famous people, entertainers and athletes, music moguls, were in attendance. So there's video in possession of the authorities right now, which they're going to use in this trial. And I'm not sure how they're going to hide it. LeBron James was at the parties. What was he doing? Was he just watching? Was he participating? This is so explosive. This is so potentially devastating for so many people. There are a lot of nervous people in Hollywood right now and across the country. They're like Hezbollah guys who are waking up this morning wondering, should I make coffee? Should I even set my alarm clock? Should I put some bread in the toaster? What's going to explode next? We can get to that. But this P. Diddy thing is so big. And it raises so many questions. First of all, how did he manage to do this for 15, 16 years? He was so out in the open about it. And they have interviewed more than 50 witnesses. These are people who could be brought to the stand if it goes to trial and tell the stories, firsthand stories about being at these freak-offs, being at these parties, which included drugs, ketamine, and ecstasy. Including part of the evidence is 1,000 bottles of lubricant. I mean, you're not going to get any more disgusting than this testimony. And it's going to include some famous people. And I'm sure right now they are nervous. And you have to wonder, I mean, he's been referred to as a Fed. I believe Jay-Z and others called him a Fed. Is that how we managed to stay free for all these years? Is that how we managed to continue so openly conducting this kind of criminal activity? Hell, we saw him on video beat the hell out of his girlfriend in that hotel as she tried to get on the elevator. He's facing no charges for that because the statute of limitation expired. He was allowed to stay free until they could no longer charge him for that assault on videotape in the hotel. It's incredible, and it raises so many questions. And the biggest one is, who else? Who else is involved? Diddy is in jail in Queens. His defense offered to put up a $50 million bond And the judge said no. And he's in this notorious jail in Brooklyn, just in his cell, thinking about how he can get out of this. Well, wouldn't it be name some names, bring down some other really big fish? That's ongoing right now in New York. And I guess all the people who are at his parties who are on videotape, he was collecting blackmail material. They are really nervous today, including LeBron, who said, "There's no party like a Diddy party." Well, why would you say that, LeBron? Fill us in. What makes Diddy's parties so special? Why did you enjoy them so much? This is like one of the biggest stars in sports. And pretty soon, he'll be getting ready for a new season, and he'll be available to the media. They'll have time where he has to answer questions. Will they ask? Has this been mentioned on ESPN? Have they, all the shows where they just slobber over LeBron, have they brought it up that LeBron James was at the freakouts? The evidence includes cell phones, laptops, hard drives, video, and 50 witnesses. I don't think Sean Puff Diddy Combs is getting out of this one. I know he has a good defense team. I know they will fight like hell, but this sounds like they have a mountain of evidence. And I don't think Diddy was the most careful guy when it came to covering his tracks. I think they got him. The question is, who else do they have? Who? Anyone else? Any other big name stars? We know that they were all there and they loved the Diddy parties. What other names are we going to hear? We will soon find out. All right, we got much more to get to today. More Kamala. More Kamala speaking and just showing how vapid she is. I know we talk about this every day, but it is remarkable. I cannot help every day watching, listening, and wondering, are 75 million people really voting for this airhead, this vapid, empty soul who can't handle the friendliest of interviews? She was not happy 2 days ago with the National Association of Black Journalists, one of whom actually asked her, "Why is joy so important to you?" The whole session was nothing but a foot massage. And when it was over, she was pissed. She can't handle even the softest questions from the friendliest interviewers. Tonight in Michigan, she'll be holding an event with Oprah, a 2-hour live stream event with Oprah. Oprah, who I'm not sure she'll bring her friends, her close friends like Bill Cosby or Diddy or Harvey Weinstein. Hell, most of Oprah's friends are in jail, so I guess she can't bring her buddies with her, but she'll be there with Kamala Harris, and she'll be slobbering all over her. Hopefully this time, she won't get asked any tough questions and storm off the stage like she did at the end of the interview with the National Association of Black Journalists. But this will be not nauseating. She can't handle any of it, none of it. She can't handle, obviously, a tough interview. She can't handle a debate unless it's rigged, and she knows what questions are coming, and she knows the moderators won't follow up on any of her answers, won't call her out on any of her lies. That was the one and only debate, ABC debate. That was it. It was rigged. We know that now. That's the only time she's going to face any reasonably difficult questions from here to election day, 46 days, I believe. Nothing but softballs, nothing but Oprah and National Association of Black Journalists, and maybe throw in there a Rachel Maddow or Joy Reid at some point. The rest of the campaign, she'll be hiding. That was the big story from Axios today. Axios writes, the Harris-Walz media strategy, hide from the press. This is the press. This is a friendly outlet. This is the media wing of the Walz-Harris campaign. And they're writing about how they are in hiding. They write, the Harris-Walz ticket is on pace to do fewer interviews and press conferences than any major party in modern U.S. history. Vice President Harris's team is betting she and her running mate, Tim Walz, can avoid many tough interviews and still win as they run down the clock. The strategy comes even as many voters say they want to learn more about Harris. And as her campaign has said, she's changed many of her past liberal positions to be more centrist. Yeah, that's called flip-flopping. And they do the numbers. This is amazing. Harris has been a candidate for 59 days, Walz for 44 days. During those days, Trump and Vance have participated in more than 70 interviews and press conferences with TV and print reporters. Walz and Harris have taken part in 7. So they go, they do the numbers. They say local TV interviews, Trump 7, Vance 15, Harris 1, Walz 3, national print publications, Trump 1, Vance 8, Harris 1, Walz 0. You go through this and you say, wow, that's pretty overwhelming. Trump and Vance are everywhere. And then they write this. Trump and Vance's 25 plus interviews during the time period do not include Fox News, NEWSMAX, or the New York Post, because they say those are conservative outlets. And they didn't include one Walz interview with Rachel Maddow. So they got Vance and Trump doing all these interviews, and they don't include the ones I just ran down. Don't include Fox News or NEWSMAX or the New York Post. Why not? I mean, Walz Harris don't go on friendly interviews. They decline to sit down with any of the major networks, NBC, CBS, CNN, even though these are people who are outright rooting for them, cheering for them, supporting them. No, their idea of an interview is the National Association of Black Journalists, where she's asked, why is joy important to you? Or Oprah tonight. That's Kamala Harris's idea of reaching out, and it will be nauseating tonight. She'll be slobbering over it. They will be talking about joy. She won't be calling her out on any of her flip-flops, any of her idiotic positions. We'll get to the gun control. Here she is Tuesday after. Keep in mind, we played this yesterday. After they asked her one softball after another, and it was in stark contrast how they treated Trump. But Trump went in the lion's den. He didn't care. She sat down with these 3 sycophants for like an hour and talked about, how her heart breaks for Haitian kids in Springfield, Ohio, and she talked about joy and she put on a performance. It was sickening. But anyway, it's over. Time to shake hands. Watch this. Look at that hand wave. She is pissed about what we don't know because she doesn't answer any questions, no follow-ups. No, look at the quote journalists. They're looking at each other going, oh my God, what did we do? Kamala's not happy with us. The look on their faces at the end of that is just hysterical. Here it is again. Shakes hands real quick, waves, head down, storms off. Then we go to the journalists, these lapdogs, and they go, oh, Mamala's not happy with us. What did we do? What did we say? This is your candidate for president, a woman who received 0 votes, won 0 primaries, was anointed, and now she's hiding. If the other candidate, Trump, were hiding, avoiding the media, you could understand. First of all, he's an open book. We know all about him. There's not a lot more to learn every day. Secondly, he won the primary. He earned the position. He has no obligation to let the public know more about him. If there's ever been a candidate who had a real obligation to speak, to talk, to answer questions, it would be this woman, especially because they leak out the flip-flops. We've seen the video of her 4 or 5 years ago when she actually ran for president and also received 0 votes, was rejected by the voters completely and without a doubt, unequivocally rejected. They did not like her. She didn't even make it to the first primary for a reason. She's a radical. We've gone through the whole thing, whether it's fracking or Medicare for all or sex change surgeries for prisoners or gun confiscation. She's a far left radical. So their strategy is, let's not let her answer questions because then she'll be forced to flip-flop. Let's leak out things to our friends in the media and keep her hidden until election day. I can't think of anything more un-American. The person who tells you Trump's a threat to democracy, who got no votes, is now hiding because she doesn't want the voters to know her, to see her. And when she is forced in front of the camera, it is just the cringiest thing ever. It was bad watching Biden decline in real time, listening to his dementia-riddled ramblings. This is worse. This is her yesterday, which just the cringiest line, the dumbest line. I'm not sure who she's speaking to, but she memorized it. It's in her mind, and she just repeats it. Go ahead.
I grew up understanding the children of the community are the children of the community.
The children of the community are the children of the community. What does that mean? I mean, if you took it literally, you'd say, that is scary. That is commie stuff. Say, your kids are my kids. Your kids belong to us, belong to the state, belong to the government. Is that what she's implying? It is. And she doesn't mind repeating it. Here she goes again.
You know, when we talk about our children, I know for this group, we all believe that when we talk about the children of the community, they are the children of the community.
Oh, man. She thinks it's profound. She thinks it's smart. Look at her face. She thinks she just said something smart. And it's just, not only is it dumb, it's just scary. When you think about it, she's not just incompetent. She's not just inept. She is scary. You want a person this ill-prepared, this unfit as president? We're not running for congressman here. We're not running for mayor of a local. We're running for president. And she is now tied in the polls. She's in the lead nationally. Battleground states are tied. I don't get it. Honestly, it is frightening. Here she is, another video that they really don't want you to see. They don't want you to hear. We know, we've seen her say she believes in a mandatory gun buyback program. That is confiscation. She wants to take your weapons away. And they will say, oh no, she's evolved or recalibrated if forced to do this. But here she is on video, not only saying, not saying she wants to take your guns away. She just wants to go into your house, into your home, to make sure they're stored properly. Do I have that right? Listen to this.
Responsible behaviors among everybody in the community, and just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your locked home doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into that home and check to see if you're being responsible and safe in the way you conduct your affairs.
Have you heard from
what? That is your candidate for president saying she wants to go into your home and make sure you're handling your guns properly? Whose job is that?
No knocks.
Whose job is that? The local police, the FBI? What is she talking about? Could you think Oprah's going to ask her about that? What do you mean? You have a right to own a gun. She concedes. We have a Second Amendment. Oh, good for her. But that means we can come to your home, go in your house and do what? Make sure they're stored in a locked cabinet or something. So go door to door, which is what it would take, especially in red states in the Midwest, down south. Everyone's got guns. They come into your house, Ironhead. They're going to knock on the door. You're going to be sitting there in your underwear, watching porn or something. They could say, "Sir, we understand that you own a firearm. Can we see it?" That's the position of the nominee of the Democrat Party for president. That is just incredible.
The thing is, though, you're basically told to, if someone says that, to be like, no.
But our records show, Mr. Ironhead, our records show that you have a 22 rifle. I see right here. It's registered. Can I see it? Let me see it.
No.
And obviously she won't get asked about this. Maybe it'll appear in a Trump ad, but that's the only way you're going to see it. Hell, I just saw that for the first time this morning. I'm I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with following the news. This is the first time she's been the nominee for a couple months. First time I've seen this. We're going to come to your home. Play it again. I want to hear the plan. Go ahead.
Responsible behaviors among everybody in the community, and just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your locked home doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into that home and check to see if you're being responsible and safe in the way you conduct your affairs.
Have you heard?
We're gonna come into your locked home and make sure you're being responsible.
She's telling you that she's going to kick your locked door in.
This is
Take your gun.
Orwellian. This is a woman who doesn't believe in the First Amendment. She's already said free speech is a privilege; it's not a right. And she wanted Twitter sent. She wanted Elon Musk. Hell, she wants Elon Musk behind bars. Doesn't believe in the Second Amendment. Believed in mandatory gun buyback program, which again is Orwellian. When you think about it, you own a gun, and the government is going to tell you you have to give it back, and we're going to give you some money for it. Some taxpayer money is going to go to buying back legally owned weapons. And again, I'm not a big gun guy. I don't think it's the most important issue, but this is how she thinks. Like, sure, you have a gun, but we can come in your house. And what if it's like not in a locked cabinet? Then what? They take it, they arrest you. If it's loaded and out on your coffee table, if there's no kids there, she's going to say, that's irresponsible. We're taking your gun. This is just incredible. All right. It was a bad day for Kamala. She had that awful interview with the black journalists. The Teamsters will not endorse, for the first time in 40 years, will not endorse a Democrat. They're going to remain neutral. Why? Because they took a poll of their members and Trump won 60-34. The Teamsters, rank and file, overwhelmingly support Trump. If the Teamsters had any guts, they would do what their members want. Their dues-paying members want Trump. They would endorse Trump. But they said, no, we can't endorse Trump because then the Democrats will come after us with a bloodlust and try to destroy us. So they said, we'll remain neutral because our guys love Trump. And we learned Iran hacked the Trump campaign and shared what they found with the Biden campaign in June and July, which is the same as the Harris campaign. And I'm telling you, you read the story, nowhere in the story does it say whether they used the hacked material in the campaign. We still don't know. That is another good question that Oprah could ask Kamala tonight. The stuff that Iran hacked from the Trump campaign, did you use it? Did you use it in an ad? Did you know it in the debate? We'll never get the answer to that. And again, we have to ask, can you just imagine if the shoe were on the other foot today? We found out Iran hacked Harris and gave the information, the stolen information, the stolen material to Trump. You would hear nothing but Trump's an Iran puppet, Iran stooge. Or if this were Russia who hacked Harris and gave it to Trump, it'd be the biggest scandal of our lives right now. But hey, they want you to know, hey, Biden and Harris didn't know. They were just unwitting parties to this. They got the information from Iran, but they didn't know, and they didn't use it. And it's no big deal. Move on. So if you keep it track at home, Kamala didn't get the support of the Teamsters, but she has the support of the mullahs and the Cheneys. That's big. So she can boast like she did in the debate, bragging that Dick Cheney endorsed her and Liz Cheney endorsed her. Now she can brag that they have the support of the mullahs in Iran. All right, we got to get to this story, this bill, this unbelievable bill that passed in the House, and 158 Democrats voted against it. I went down the rabbit hole last night. I couldn't believe what I was reading. The bill called for the deportation of illegal aliens who commit sex crimes, rape, sexual assault on children, and domestic violence. Deporting them, violent criminals, sexual criminals. And the bill says we're going to deport them. And 158 Democrats voted against it. Yes, you heard that right. Incredible story. We got the latest on Ryan Ruth. I got a big question to ask about him. And we'll talk about the big Thursday night game. Aaron Rodgers against the Patriots. I don't know. I get excited to watch Aaron Rodgers. He's a fun guy to watch, and it's a good game. And I will be locked in on this tonight. We'll get to that and lots more, but first.
Excuse me.
I heard this. I saw a tweet about this last night, and I said, "This can't be. I'm not seeing this correctly. This can't be right." The bill. Let me read the. I got a NEWSMAX story right here, and I'm saying there's got to be more to this. There's got to be some poison pill in this bill. From NEWSMAX, the House approved a bill Wednesday requiring the federal government to deport illegal immigrants who have a history of sex offenses and domestic violence. Every Republican and 51 Democrats voted to pass the Violence Against Women by Illegal Aliens Act. That's what it's called, which was introduced by Nancy Mace of South Carolina. If signed into law, the bill would amend the Immigration and Nationality Act so illegal immigrants with a history of sex offenses or domestic violence would not be admitted to the country or deported. H.R. 7909 is about common sense, a trait sorely lacking in Washington these days, wrote Nancy Mace. The bill ensures predators who pose a threat and have been previously convicted of sexual assault, domestic violence, or other heinous crimes are turned away or immediately deported. Okay, she writes, it's time to stop coddling criminals and start standing up for innocent victims who deserve justice and families who deserve peace of mind. Now, I understand. We talk about it every day. Democrats want illegal aliens here. There's the vote on the screen right there. Republicans, 215 yay, 0 nay. Democrats, 51 yay, 158 nay, no. They do not want to deport illegal aliens with a history of sexual violence and domestic violence. That's it. That's all. There's nothing else to this. I looked for a defense from Democrats. Obviously, they don't want to talk about it. You got Jerry Nadler saying sexual offenses and domestic violence are serious crimes, and if the bill fixed some gap in current law, I would have no problem supporting it. That's not the case. In reality, the redundancies in this bill all but assure no additional dangerous individuals would face immigration consequences if it became law. Okay, why are you voting against it? Why? He called it scapegoat and fear-mongering about immigrants. Scapegoating and fear-mongering because you want to deport criminal aliens. The worst of the worst, the people Trump talks about every night. You're talking about that people who commit sexual assaults on children, the ones we hear about every day and here in Massachusetts because they sure love our state. And they said no. 158 Democrats in my state, one Democrat, Steve Lynch, voted yay. All the rest voted no. If this doesn't tell you all you need to know, I understand. Again, they want the votes. They bring them in and they hope they will vote for them in the next election or the one after that. That's why they're destroying the country, devastating small towns and big cities everywhere. That's the cynical plot by these cynical Democrats. But at some point, don't you have to consider basic human decency when you see assaults on kids, sexual assaults on kids from repeat recidivist criminals who are here illegally? Don't you have to say, okay, enough is enough. They got to go. They got to be deported. This is a real miscalculation of the Democrats. Yesterday, Kamala Harris and her surrogates were all saying, oh, Trump wants to deport illegal aliens, mass deportation, as if it's a bad thing. Trump proudly stands in front of crowds every day and says, we're to start the biggest mass deportation operation ever on day one. That's what the public wants. Hell, Democrats are last week, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Democrats were like 40% support this. Independents, it's overwhelming 60-something% of Democrats. Obviously, Republicans support it. People want deportations. And Kamala Harris and Walz and the Democrats think they can portray it as a bad thing. Just in at NEWSMAX, Trump asks if Harris will resign over Iran spying. Of course you won't. It's a good question, but and a better question is if roles were reversed, that you would have nothing. There'd be nothing else today. We'd talk about nothing else but Iran working with Trump on to defeat Harris. But since it's Harris, there'll be no big deal. It's just, what happens. You can't control what the Iranians do. And of course they didn't use the hacked material. They would never do such a thing. I look forward to hearing from all the Democrats. When the media asks them as they're walking into Capitol Hill, said, why would you vote against a bill designed to get rid of criminals, the worst of the worst, rapists and sexual predators? Why would you vote against that? And there'll be, tomorrow there'll be another Laken Riley, another Rachel Marin, another Jocelyn Nungri, and they'll say, well, I didn't like the redundancy of that bill. These people are just vile. Anyone who hears that, sees that, can never play that decency card again. You voted, look at that, you voted to not deport just the worst scum of the earth. And you should have to own that. You should have to be asked about that and own that. All right, we got lots more to get to. I got to get to this, the latest on Ryan Ruth. Where are we? I want to do that. The Nancy Pelosi cut, because this is just incredible. Nancy Pelosi, as we know, she was an insurrectionist in July. She was there with Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, when they pulled a coup, a bloodless coup, and forced the old man out. They threatened him with the 25th Amendment. Keep that in mind. Every time you hear Biden say, Kamala's wonderful, or Kamala say she loves Joe Biden, she shivved him in the back, said, you got to go. And the only way you could get that stubborn old man to flip and say, okay, I'll leave, is to threaten to remove him. There's no way they just said, Joe, maybe for the good of the party. He doesn't care about the party. If there's anything we know about Joe Biden, he cares about Joe Biden and the Biden family. There is no way they didn't use that leverage that the vice president held over him. Say, you got to go, time to go. He left. We know Pelosi was integral in this. So she should have to answer for the fact that their nominee received no votes, that the voters did not choose their nominee. There was no vetting. There was no campaigning. There was no primaries, no votes. The woman who tells you, everyone else is a threat to democracy. Listen to this answer. This is what, a day after Hillary Clinton called for jail for people who participate in misinformation. This is after you heard Kamala Harris and so many other Democrats say, we have this real problem with misinformation and disinformation. This is the former Speaker of the House, still one of the most powerful people in Washington, talking about Kamala Harris and how she became the nominee. Go ahead.
You had reportedly said you wanted a sort of an open primary if Joe Biden stepped down. Did you change your mind because you saw all the excitement around Kamala Harris?
No, I didn't change my mind. We had an open primary and she won it. Nobody else got in the race because she was politically astute. And that was the thought. Let's show our talent. We have a great bench, all the in the country. And she could.
They will say anything. We had an open primary and she won. I know I was busy this summer. I had a lot going on. I was traveling, had a couple weddings, funerals. Did I miss the open primary? Did this happen in July when I was off? When I was out traveling? I mean,
it was a Friday news dump, Jerry.
maybe you're right. Maybe it was a Friday in July. That's good time to dump some bad news. We had an open primary and she won. What the? She said it is amazing. It'll never not be amazing to me how easily, comfortably, casually these people lie. I mean, we know she can lie like nobody else, or maybe Biden, and doesn't flinch. She's in front of a crowd. She's on camera. And she says, we had an open primary and she won? What? And I don't even know what the follow-up was from, this is a semaphore. in a little town hall kind of deal. And the crowd cheers. The crowd cheers. This, I'm telling you, I know we say it too often. This is so like Orwellian. This is just, up is down, good is evil. We are, we had an open primary and she won. That's her story. And she's sticking to it. All right, we got to get to the latest. I got questions, more questions about Ryan Ruth, and I got questions about the big Jets-Pats game tonight.
Excuse me.
And I'm going to ask the same question about Ryan Ruth as I asked about Sean Puff Diddy P. Diddy. What are you supposed to call him anyway? Every time someone talks, Sean Puff Diddy P. Diddy Daddy Puff Diddy Poop. Should I just call him Sean Combs now that he's a incarcerated, accused?
Yeah, he doesn't deserve his cool
felon.
nickname anymore.
But everyone calls him Diddy. No party like a Diddy party, said LeBron James. Oh, I can't wait till LeBron James is in front of the media because I have no faith in the NBA media. Certainly have no faith in ESPN. That they are not going to touch that. They're not going to touch it, but it may come up in court. If it's not LeBron, it's going to be somebody else. There are going to be some really big names involved here, and they might even be on video in compromising positions. This is just going to be the wildest trial. God, I hope it goes to trial. I hope we get all the evidence out there. I want to see the freak-offs, which they said lasted days. How do you have a sex party that lasts days? What do you just say? Okay, I'm going to bed now, and you get up and you start all over?
The problem is, though, I think it's federal, so we won't even be able to watch.
Oh, that's true. No cameras. We got the stupid drawings. It's right. No cameras. But whatever. The testimony will be just so lurid. But here's what I think I know about Ryan Ruth, the attempted assassin of Donald Trump, who was busted in West Palm on Sunday. As I said yesterday, anyone who tells you we don't know anything about this guy is lying. I have never seen a criminal suspect where we know more about. I mean, whether you're talking about like school shooters or Thomas Crooks, we have never seen a guy where we immediately knew a whole lot about him. Hell, we saw video of him talking about why he was in Ukraine, talking about he has an online book where he calls on Iran to assassinate Trump. We have an arrest record a mile long. Here's what we know. He's faced at least 100 criminal charges, mostly in North Carolina, including carrying a concealed weapon, hit and run, receiving stolen goods, and possession of a weapon of mass destruction. As we mentioned the other day, that weapon was a machine gun. That guy, you want to guess how many days he spent in jail? This criminal record.
Zero.
Zero. Can someone explain that to me? How you can be convicted of carrying a concealed weapon, hit and run. He barricaded himself in a building and had a 3-hour standoff with the cops. Did you ever think, have you ever seen Dog Day Afternoon, that someone who's barricaded and holding and negotiating with the police doesn't go to jail? A machine gun and you don't go to jail? A hit and run, stolen goods, and you don't go to jail? He traveled everywhere. He has $68 to his name. He told the judge he lives off $3,000 a month. He has no money, and yet he's flying from Hawaii to Ukraine to Florida to Taiwan to Poland. He spent 2 months in Ukraine. We saw him recruiting, scaring people, but trying to recruit fighters for Zelensky. And he's got no money. All right. How has he managed to stay out of jail? How did Sean Combs manage to stay out of jail? I know we may never get answers to this, just like we never got answers to how Jeffrey Epstein manages to stay out of jail for the most part, end up getting less than a year and only served time during the day, got to go home at night for some of the most heinous crimes against children. But are we going to find out how Ryan Ruth could afford to live the way he lived? How he could afford these flights? I told you yesterday, I looked up just Honolulu to Florida to Miami was like $750. Honolulu to Ukraine to Taiwan, that is thousands. And he has no money. He qualified for a public defender because he's got no money and no real job, a part-time roofer. Who did he know? He went to Washington, D.C. and lobbied lawmakers on behalf of Ukraine. How? Can we ask those questions? Can we get answers to those questions? I have my doubts because we know how corrupt the FBI is and the Secret Service, by the way, still won't answer questions about July 13th. But thankfully, the great Ron DeSantis is on the case. He's conducting a parallel investigation. If we find out anything, it'll probably be through the local Florida investigation.
Well, this conveniently delays the release of the investigation into the Secret Service that day too.
That's true. Oh, by the way, oh man, this Ron Rowe, this acting director, he is a creep, in my opinion, and a partisan. In the press conference after they busted Ruth, he praised Joe Biden and Alejandro Mayorkas, praised them, and blamed Trump, said Trump wasn't supposed to be there. What? He went to the golf course on Sunday, which he does every Sunday, and he wasn't supposed to be there? If you say, it wasn't on his official schedule, whatever, he can go play at his golf course on Sunday if he wants. That's not somewhere he's not supposed to be. This guy is a partisan hack. You'll find out. You'll never get the truth. He is a Democrat operative, just like the last one, just like Cheadle. You'll see. All right. Do I need a break? I don't need a break, do I?
No break.
I don't know why I'm interested in this game. Let me see. Did I get to everything I had to get to? Yes, I think I did. We didn't get to Kamala's Spanish accent, but we'll do that another day. We're still compiling all her accents. Trump put out an ad with all her different accents, which is hilarious. Trump is still funny, I'm telling you. Anyway, big game tonight, at least, in New York and New England. Jets, Pats. They're both 1-1. Jets are 6.5-point favorites. That's a lot, Ironhead, you would admit, right? It's a big number. Yeah,
that is a big number. But it's Aaron Rodgers versus Jacoby Brissett, who will probably be hurt somewhere in the second quarter.
Yes, everyone asking when they're going to see Drake May. You will see him soon because Jacoby Brissett is taking a beating, and he's a guy who occasionally likes to run the ball, and he likes to show you how tough he is. That's a bad combination. He is tough, but he can only be so tough. He'll probably take a beating tonight. They have some good pass rushers, but the Jets lost to San Francisco on the road and then beat Tennessee on the road. This is their home opener. This is Aaron Rodgers' second home opener for the Jets. The first one lasted 4 plays, blew out his Achilles, but he ran on the field with the flag. It was very emotional, and then it ended 5 minutes later. Tonight, I assume he'll do the same thing, run on the field with the flag.
I was going to say he has to have the flag. He has to.
He has to. The Patriots, as we know, they beat Cincinnati on the road, huge upset, and then lost in overtime to Seattle at home. I don't know. I feel like whose fault was it?
Gerard Mayo. He's bleeding the clock with 6 minutes left, only up 3. Should have went in the end zone. 2 scores.
Fire him. The Patriots. The Jets beat the Patriots last season, the end of last season, breaking a losing streak to the Patriots of 15 games. The Patriots have beat the Jets 15 straight times. This is the first Jets-Pats game without Belichick since 1999. That is incredible. But I do think they're playing hard for Gerard Mayo, and I do think their defense is stout. They're second in the NFL against the run. So I'm going to take the Patriots and the under, and I'm going to say the Jets win by 3. What about you, Ironhead?
Man, I think the Jets potentially might win by like 2 touchdowns.
Really?
Yeah, it's a home opener. He has to redeem himself for last year. He might kill them.
It's going to be very emotional. People are going to be, going nuts when he takes the field. That helps, but I do think that Patriots defense has been damn good. They've given up 16.5 points a game. I did my research, and it just feels like one of those tight games, those tight defensive battles, and I can't see anyone winning by a touchdown, which means the Jets will probably win by 3 touchdowns.
If the Patriots play zone defense again, it'll be a bloodbath.
A bloodbath.
Oh crap! I'm gonna be canceled now.
A bloodbath in the in JetLife Stadium. Our friend at NEWSMAX has taken the over. I don't know about the over. These Thursday nights are unpredictable because everybody's hurting. That's my theory always. That's often why they're boring. For years, the Thursday night games were bad because the human body was not meant to play 2 NFL games in 4 days. It just wasn't. Thursday night is too soon. These guys are still sore. On a normal week, they'd still be in the tub, still be getting their massages, still be recovering from last Sunday, but they are forced to play, and oftentimes they're not ready to play. There's not enough practice time, not enough healing time, so it'll be ugly. That's my prediction. It'll be ugly, and Rodgers will prevail, which is fine with me. This is not the Patriots' year, and I'm looking forward to seeing Drake May. I don't want to see, Jacoby Brissett, blow out his ACL, but he's going to get knocked out of one of these games. I thought he was going to get knocked out against Seattle. He looked hurt, but he's a tough guy, and he's done okay. But you don't use a third pick in the draft on a backup. You just don't. I heard Brady talking about this, saying how it's crazy that they're starting all these rookies. You know what? And he said he really benefited because he didn't start. He was obviously a 6th-round pick, and he sat behind Bledsoe for a year. But you could make the same case about Peyton Manning or Troy Aikman or C.J. Stroud. I mean, there's plenty of guys who start right away and are great.
Brady sitting behind Bledsoe and Rodgers sitting behind Favre are different than Drake May sitting behind Jacoby Brissett.
That's a good point, right? You got Rodgers who sat for whatever it was, 3 years. You know what? He shouldn't have. He was too good. And I know Favre was an MVP, but he was probably ready before he actually took the field. Maybe, hell, trade Favre if you have to and start Rodgers. I mean, he was that good. He is that good. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a 4-time MVP. You can't say he needs to sit for 3 years. That's insane. But we'll eventually see all the rookies. The pressure's too much on the owner and the management and the coach. They got to play the rookies. So we'll be seeing Drake May soon, maybe tonight. But we will leave it there. So did you make your pick?
Yeah, Jets by like 400.
Jets by 400. I'm going to take the Jets 2017. I don't know. That seems like a common score. So
I think it's going to be like 35-10.
Unfortunately, there's no Manning cast. Can't they do every game? I would love that if they did every game.
Or something like that. Try get a few that combos that work, but nothing's
That's true. You could have Jason Kelce. Everyone loves Jason Kelce. You could have Pat McAfee. He doesn't do enough. You could have whoever,
I would love Brady and Belichick cast.
Yeah, I don't know if Brady's ready. I don't know if he's ready, but he'll be good, but he's not good yet. He needs a little time. And Belichick's great with the Mannings, but hell, it's not a lot of work. They just sit there, drinking wine, talking football for 3 hours. They could do that twice a week. They don't even do it every Monday for some reason. The Mannings have it made. They know what they're doing. They're just loving life. But anyway,
Don't really say they got to ban the too high safety? Isn't that the whole point? Is to hurt the passing numbers?
Ban the too high safety. I don't think they're ready to make rule changes because of 2 weeks of struggling passing numbers. But maybe soon enough. Defenses are good. They're fast. They're smart. It's not easy. That's why rookies struggle. That's why you bench a quarterback, because he can't read defenses. They all have great arms. They're all great athletes. Some of them just can't read NFL defenses, and it's a problem. We'll see soon enough if Drake May can do it. But all right, we'll leave it there for today. Thanks for listening. Thank you, Ironhead. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is The Callahan Show, and we'll do it again tomorrow.
But I'm going to go to bed.